Hey, this is Danny B of the Boca Brothers, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today's video is all about the Dodge Diplomat and how it became the 80s police car.
Call Corrigan.
You know, when you think about classic 1980s TV shows and films, it's always the hero cars that spring to mind first. Vehicles like Michael Knight's Kit, Colt Seaver's Fall Guy truck, and the A-Team's van. But the cop cars and government agency cars in those shows got almost as much airtime. Would you believe this? 8 times out of 10, those cars were Dodge Diplomats. This is the story of the Dodge Diplomat.
Look, Holmes, the car that Ford and Chevy owners.
Dodge introduces a fiendishly seductive new car and dashing 2-door and brilliantly understated 4-door, the Diplomat.
1977 saw the introduction of the Diplomat M-Body, along with its assembly line twins, the Chrysler LeBaron and Plymouth Caravelle, sold only in Canada. It was an immediate hit, becoming the second-place best-selling Dodge after the Aspen, which launched in 1976. The Diplomat was originally built as a sedan and coupe. The wagon versions followed close behind. At its core, the Diplomat was the embodiment of simplicity and practicality. It featured classic American styling, a spacious interior, and a choice of a 6 or V8 engine, making it a reliable choice for law enforcement agencies and everyday drivers alike. Unique to the Diplomat were the bumpers, hood, and trunk lid.
Introducing the new Dodge Diplomat S, a beautiful new version of one of America's most impressive value cars. Diplomat S, with power steering, power brakes, automatic transmission, AM radio, and white sidewalls and wheel covers, all for just $50,35. New Diplomat S, another fine motor car from Dodge.
For 1978, the 6 with the 4-speed manual transmission became the base drivetrain, and the station wagon was added. The wagon featured teakwood grain body appliques and was only available in base trim. The sedans and coupes continued largely unchanged. For the 1979 model year, the Diplomat received a minor facelift. The grille was now divided into 3 rows of 8 rectangular openings, with an internal crosshatch pattern and a broad band on top. The sedan and coupe taillights were also altered, now with a horizontal theme while divided down the middle.
Here I am sitting in this Diplomat, feeling as though I'm in a big car.
We're eavesdropping with hidden cameras as a big car owner test drives the new Dodge Diplomat.
The second generation 1980 model year brought new exterior sheet metal for the Diplomat. The early 80s brought challenges to the auto industry, such as rising fuel prices and changing regulations. The Dodge Diplomat adapted to these times by offering a more fuel-efficient 6-cylinder engine and a smaller V8, allowing it to remain relevant during an era of increased emphasis on fuel economy. Hey, did you own a Dodge Diplomat? If so, what memories do you have of the Diplomat? Leave us your comments below. We want to know. While you're at it, like, subscribe, and hit that bell for future video notifications. By 1981, Chrysler was switching to smaller front-wheel drive designs. However, its older and larger rear-wheel drive Dodge Diplomat, as well as the Chrysler LeBaron and Fifth Avenue, continued to sell. Here's an interesting note. Chrysler's then Executive Vice President for Manufacturing, Steve Scharf, met with officials at American Motors, AMC, to use the extra capacity at an assembly plant in Kenosha, Wisconsin to build the cars. About 250,000 Chrysler and Dodge models were built by AMC at a lower cost than Chrysler could. This relationship evolved into Chrysler's purchase of AMC in 1987. 1981 was also the year that the police package version arrived. The Diplomat's sister, the Plymouth Grand Fury, were smaller than the Chevy and Ford competition, but had slightly better performance than the Ford and Chevy in certain years. One of the reasons some forces liked the Diplomat was that it was shorter than the Ford Crown Victoria, Chevrolet Caprice alternatives, making it more maneuverable in chases.
If a manufacturer doesn't have enough confidence in the quality of what he makes, he doesn't have the right to ask you to buy it. And it doesn't make any difference what he makes. Washing machines, toasters, or roller skates. Me, I'm in the car business. And I've been saying for a long time that Chrysler makes cars that are as good, if not better, than anything coming out of America, Europe, or Japan.
In 1982, the coupe and station wagon were discontinued, and Canada's Plymouth version of the Diplomat came south of the border. The Plymouth Caravelle was offered in the United States as the Plymouth Grand Fury. From 1982 through 1989, the Plymouth Grand Fury shared the Dodge Diplomat's front and rear fascias. They were virtually identical with the exception of badging. Once again, the third-generation Grand Fury was available in base and higher-end salon trim.
Some of these Aries Ks. This one's beige crystal coat, and it's got
your local Dodge dealers have a problem.
Transmission. No problem. Let's take a look.
Dodge
at
cars and trucks are selling so fast, we can't wait for the end of the year for our end-of-the-year clearance.
Interior, and this one's no problem.
They're going fast.
For 1984, the appearance of the upscale Special Edition, or SE, used the Fifth Avenue's front end with its parking lights located above the headlights and a bright metal cross overlay on the Chrysler grille's thin vertical bars. The SE had more exterior trim and an interior that placed the SE between the Diplomat salon and the Chrysler Fifth Avenue. Beginning in 1984, all of the M-body cars had their powertrain choices trimmed to just the 318 V8 and TorqueFlite 3-speed automatic transmission. In 1984, the Michigan State Police tested the 318 2-barrel and 4-barrel and found that the extra 35 horsepower and 5 pound-foot of torque in the 4-barrel cars led to a hefty improvement. 1984 marked the pinnacle of the Dodge Diplomat's popularity, especially among law enforcement agencies. Police departments praised its reliability and low maintenance costs, while civilian buyers appreciated its classic design and dependability. For 1985, an SE Edition Diplomat went on sale with a restyled front end, looking like a Chrysler Fifth Avenue. A few SE Edition Diplomats made their way into police forces, but these cars cost more, so not many were sold as police cars. Most were unmarked cars. By the way, cars made after May 1988 had driver's side airbags. In the US, the Dodge Diplomat outsold the Plymouth Grand Fury every year as cop cars. As the 80s drew to a close, the Diplomat faced stiff competition from more modern vehicles. Dodge continued to make incremental improvements to keep the Diplomat relevant, but the end of its production was on the horizon. The Dodge Diplomat's production came to a close in 1989, concluding an illustrious decade-long run. It left behind a legacy of dependability and service in law enforcement and civilian markets alike. The Diplomat's impact on American roads is still felt today, as many enthusiasts continue to restore and cherish these classic vehicles. Well, that wraps up our video on the Dodge Diplomat. Did you or your family own one back in the day? What was your experience or memory of the Diplomat? Leave us your comments below. We want to know. Hey, thanks to all our subscribers who support the Boca Brothers YouTube channel. We really do appreciate it. We couldn't do it without you. This is Danny B of the Boca Brothers. Thanks again for watching our YouTube channel. We'll catch you next weekend.